People will always have an opinion about who you should be. They'll try to put you in a box. Too loud, too quiet, too bold, too ambitious, too pretty, not pretty enough, too Western, too traditional. You'll hear it all. But here's the secret. They don't matter. What matters is the voice in your own head when no one's watching. The way you see yourself when the makeup's off, when the lights are out, when it's just you and your reflection. That's the person you need to be proud of. Being yourself isn't easy. It's not always popular. It's not always applauded. In fact, most of the time, it's uncomfortable. Because when you decide to walk your own path, people will question you. They'll try to make you feel small, make you doubt yourself, make you feel like you need to change in order to be accepted. But if you keep changing for everyone else, you'll lose the most important thing, you. And trust me, nothing is more valuable than being comfortable in your own skin. You weren't born to fit in. You were born to stand out. And standing out requires courage. It takes guts to show up as you are in a world that's constantly telling you to be something else. But guess what? The people who change the world, the people who inspire others, the people who build legacies, they never fit in. They chose to be authentic. They chose to be real. And that's where true power comes from. The truth is, authenticity shines louder than perfection. People can spot fake from a mile away. But when someone walks into a room fully owning who they are, flaws, strengths, insecurities, and all, that's magnetic. That's the kind of energy that moves people. And that's the kind of energy that opens doors. You don't need to have the perfect face, the perfect voice, or the perfect story. What you need is the courage to say, this is me. Take it or leave it. And if they leave, let them. You were never meant to be for everyone. You were meant to be for yourself first. And when you stand tall in your truth, the right people, the ones who see you really see you, will find you. They'll stand beside you. They'll rise with you. So the next time someone tells you who you should be, smile. Thank them for their opinion, and then ignore it. Because you're not here to live up to someone else's expectations. You're here to write your own story, to break the mold, to create a life that reflects who you really are. Be messy, be complicated, be raw, be brilliant. Be too much for some people. It's better than being too little for yourself. The most powerful thing you can ever be is you. Not a version muted to make others comfortable. Just you. Loud, proud, wild, and true. So take up space, own your voice, and never apologize for existing exactly as you are. Because the world doesn't need another copy. It needs your original. Who decided what the rules are anyway? Who made the list of what's acceptable, what's not, what success should look like, how a woman should speak, walk, dream? Because if you take a closer look, most of those rules were never written for people who dream big, love loud, or dare to be different. They were written to keep you in line, to keep you small, to keep you quiet. And if you keep following them, you only end up living a life that someone else designed for you. That's the thing about rules. They're only as powerful as the power you give them. And the moment you stop accepting them as truth, the moment you decide to question them, challenge them, rewrite them, that's the moment you take your power back. You don't need permission to do that. You don't need validation. What you need is guts. The kind of guts that says, I don't care if this has never been done before. I'm going to do it anyway. People will tell you there's a right way to live, a right way to look, to dress, to love, to dream. But the truth is, the right way is often just the most common one. And common isn't always extraordinary. Common doesn't change the game. Common doesn't break ceilings. If you want something different, you have to be different. And that means letting go of the need to follow someone else's path and instead carving out your own. Even if it's messy, even if it's lonely. When you write your own rules, you start creating from a place of freedom. You're not trying to fit into a script. You're not auditioning for approval. You're living a life that reflects who you truly are. And sure, that might make some people uncomfortable. You might even lose a few along the way. But don't let that shake you. Growth always comes with noise. Let them wonder. Let them criticize. Their voices don't decide your future, your voice does. You weren't born to walk behind someone else. You were born to lead. And leaders don't wait for blueprints. They build their own. Maybe you want to be a filmmaker when your family expects a doctor. Maybe you want to start a business when society tells you to play it safe. Maybe you dream of taking your story across the world, even when no one around you believes it's possible. Do it anyway. Because the moment you choose yourself, the moment you trust that inner fire, that's when the universe starts paying attention. Writing your own rules doesn't mean it'll be easy. There'll be fear, there'll be mistakes, there'll be doubt. But those are just growing pains. Signs that you're not settling. And that's the beauty of it. You're not just existing, you're creating. You're shaping a life that looks like you, feels like you, sounds like you. That's rare. That's powerful. So don't wait for someone to open the door. Build your own. And if you can't find space at the table, flip the table and build one where you belong. Because you do belong. In rooms you haven't entered yet. In conversations you haven't started yet. In dreams you haven't even imagined yet. But none of that will happen unless you break away from what's been done and start doing what's never been done. You're not here to follow the rules. You're here to redefine them. With your name, your fire, your story. So pick up the pen and start writing. Rejection is not the end. It's never the end. It just feels like it in the moment because our hearts break a little, our egos bruise a lot. And suddenly the ground beneath our feet doesn't feel so steady. But that's where the gold is. Right there in the fall. Because every rejection, every no, every door slammed shut, it's not pushing you back. It's pushing you forward. It's not failure, it's redirection. People don't talk enough about the pain of being told you're not good enough, not pretty enough, not talented enough, not the right fit. Those moments sting. They cut deep. But what matters is what you do after. Do you shrink? Do you hide? Or do you rise? Do you walk back into the fire and say, I'm still here? Because resilience is a choice. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stand tall when everything around you is trying to break you down. You see, it's easy to shine when everything is working. When the world says yes. When the applause is loud. But the real strength, it's built in the silence. When the phones stop ringing. When you get passed over again and again. When nobody's watching and you still show up. That's when your character is being built. That's when your foundation becomes unshakable. Some of the most powerful breakthroughs come from the deepest disappointments. That role you didn't get, maybe it wasn't meant for your story. That relationship that ended, maybe it was clearing space for something better. That opportunity you lost, maybe the universe was making room for one bigger than you could imagine. It's not toxic positivity, it's perspective. It's learning to trust that rejection doesn't mean you're not enough. It just means it wasn't your door. And your door, it's still out there. Let people say no. Let them underestimate you. Let them walk away. Let them label you. But never, ever let them define you. They don't know the fire that burns inside you. They don't know how many nights you cried and still woke up the next day and gave it your all. They don't know how many battles you fought just to be standing where you are. So let their no fuel your yes. Let their doubt light your determination. Let their silence echo into your roar. Rejection teaches you to survive, to adapt, to create new paths when the old ones collapse. It forces you to grow in ways you never planned. And that's the point. It's never about perfection. It's about transformation. It's about becoming so strong that even when life knocks you down, you don't just get up, you rise higher. You come back with more clarity, more fire, more fight. So the next time you hear no, don't let it paralyze you. Let it push you. Let it stretch you. Let it remind you that your journey isn't defined by someone else's acceptance. It's defined by your persistence. Because one day all those no's will turn into a yes so big, so undeniable, that everyone who once doubted you will have no choice but to watch you shine. That day will come. But until then, keep walking, keep working, keep believing. Because rejection isn't your enemy, it's your training ground. And you're just getting started. There's this lie we've been told that you have to be perfect to be proud of yourself. That if you don't have it all figured out, you don't deserve to celebrate where you are. That if you're not at the finish line, you better keep your head down and your mouth shut. But let me tell you something real. You can be a masterpiece and still be a work in progress. Both things can exist. At the same time, without apology, you don't have to wait until you're at the top of the mountain to be proud of how far you've climbed. Every little step matters. Every scar, every stumble, every messy middle. It's all part of the beauty. And if someone tells you otherwise, they're missing the point. Growth doesn't look like a straight line. It looks like chaos. It looks like breakdowns and breakthroughs and learning how to love yourself while you're still becoming. There is power in honoring your now, even when it's not perfect. Maybe you're still figuring it out. Maybe you haven't reached your big goal yet. Maybe you're healing, starting over, or just learning to breathe again. That's okay. You don't need to be flawless to be valuable. You don't need to have everything in place to be worthy of love, success, or celebration. You are enough in this moment, exactly as you are. We live in a world obsessed with finish lines. Who made it? Who won? Who achieved the most? But real life, it's not a highlight reel. It's not always glamorous. And sometimes the most heroic thing you can do is just keep going. Keep showing up for yourself when no one else sees the effort. Keep taking small steps when the big ones feel too heavy. That's not weakness. That's resilience. That's strength. That's courage. You don't need to hide your flaws. Own them. They make you real. And being real is so much more interesting than being perfect. You're allowed to have bad days. You're allowed to question yourself. You're allowed to fail. But what you're not allowed to do is forget how far you've come. You didn't make it this far just to bury yourself under expectations. You're allowed to be proud, loudly. And don't let anyone shame you for celebrating your progress. Some people will look at you and say, "You haven't even made it yet. Why are you so proud?" Smile, because they don't know the battles you've fought. They don't know the fears you've conquered. They don't know how hard it was just to wake up and keep trying. But you do. You know? And that's more than enough. Being a work in progress doesn't mean you're lost. It means you're evolving. It means you're learning, growing, unlearning, rebuilding. It means you're human. And what's more powerful than being fully, unapologetically human? So give yourself permission to be both. The masterpiece and the mess. The polished and the undone. The light and the shadow. All of it matters. All of it is part of your becoming. And every chapter is worth reading out loud, not just the ending. Where you are today is not where you'll stay. But that doesn't make it any less meaningful. So stand tall. Be proud of your progress. Celebrate the small wins. You don't have to wait for perfect to feel powerful. You already are. Stop waiting for someone to say, "You're ready now." Stop waiting for a sign, a pat on the back, an open door, or a nod of approval. You don't need it. You never did. You were born with everything you need inside you. The only thing holding you back is the belief that someone else has the authority to give you permission to be powerful. Let me be clear. You are your own permission. We grew up being taught to ask to speak, to ask to dream big, to ask to take up space. But here's the truth: power doesn't wait for approval. Power is taken. Power is owned. Power is something you step into when you decide you're done playing small for the comfort of others. And once you step into it, everything changes. Not just for you, but for the people around you who suddenly see what's possible. Don't shrink to make someone else comfortable. Don't silence yourself because someone said you're too much. If your voice is loud, let it echo. If your dreams are wild, chase them without shame. If your presence fills a room, don't dim it, own it. That energy, that power, it's not arrogance, it's not attitude, it's self-respect. So many people, especially women, are to apologize for their ambition, to say sorry before they speak, to make themselves smaller so others can feel big. But that's not leadership. That's survival. And you weren't born just to survive. You were born to thrive, to roar, to lead. And yes, some people will be uncomfortable with that. Let them be. That's not your problem. That's their limitation, not yours. There will always be critics. People who say you're trying too hard, that you've changed, that you're stepping out of line. Let them talk. Let them whisper. Let them doubt. Your job is not to make them understand. Your job is to keep moving forward, to keep shining, to keep walking like you own every room you enter. Because you do. Not because of what you wear or how you look, but because of what you carry inside you: courage, experience, fire. You are not here to fit in someone else's mold. You are here to break it, to show what it looks like when someone decides to live unapologetically. You don't need a title to be powerful. You don't need a stage. You don't need permission. All you need is the decision to stop playing small. Power isn't given. It's claimed. And let me tell you something else. Being powerful doesn't mean being perfect. It doesn't mean you have to know everything, do everything, or get it all right. Power comes from owning your flaws and still showing up, from being vulnerable and still speaking out, from making mistakes and still choosing to grow. That's real power. That's the kind that lasts. So if you're waiting for the right moment to step into who you are, stop waiting. The right moment is now. Don't waste another day shrinking yourself for a world that doesn't even know what to do with your full potential. Stand up, speak out, take your place. Be the woman who walks into the room like she belongs there, because she does. You don't need to ask for permission to shine. You already are the light. Now go blind them. Let them laugh. Let them roll their eyes. Let them whisper behind your back. You don't need to waste a second trying to explain yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. That's not your job. Your job is to show up confidently, fiercely, unapologetically, and own every inch of who you are. Because confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about knowing that you belong in the room, even when no one says it out loud. Confidence is your silent weapon. You don't need to scream it. You don't need to wear it like armor. You just carry it in your walk, in your posture, in the way you speak your truth without flinching. It's in the moments when you walk into spaces where they didn't expect you to be, and you don't just show up, you take over. And when they look at you like you're too much, smile. You're not too much. You're just more than they were ready for. You see, the world tries to convince you that confidence is earned, that you need to achieve a certain level of success, beauty, intelligence, or approval before you're allowed to feel proud of yourself. But that's a lie. Confidence isn't something you wait for. It's something you decide. You choose it. You build it. And yes, some days you fake it, but eventually it becomes real. You wake up one morning and realize you're no longer shrinking. You're no longer waiting for someone to clap for you. You are clapping for yourself. There's nothing more powerful than someone who owns their worth. And not just in public, but in private too. When no one's watching, when the compliments fade, when the lights go out, that's when it matters most. Can you still stand tall when the world is quiet? Can you still look in the mirror and say, I'm proud of who I'm becoming? That's real confidence. That's unshakable. You don't owe anyone humility that disguises your brilliance. Be kind, yes. Be graceful always. But never dim your shine to protect someone else's insecurity. If your confidence intimidates them, that's not a reason to make yourself smaller. That's a sign that your presence is powerful. And the world needs more of that energy. More people who walk with their heads high, who know their value without needing to broadcast it, who can walk into any room, boardroom, classroom, red carpet, street corner, and say, with their presence alone, I belong here. And confidence isn't about never failing. It's about how you bounce back. It's showing your face again after being broken. It's walking back into the room that once rejected you. It's daring to be seen after you've been doubted, criticized, judged. That's strength. That's grace under fire. And the people who once laughed, one day they'll remember how loudly you rose. So walk like you own the ground beneath your feet. Speak like your words matter, because they do. Dream like no one is watching, then live those dreams like everyone is. Don't ask for space. Take it. Don't ask for approval. Be your own validation. And when they try to question your confidence, don't explain. Just smile. Flip your hair and keep walking. Because confidence doesn't beg. Confidence doesn't chase. Confidence walks, and the world moves out of its way.